Just a quick welcome to Unity of Syracuse. We have Doolin O'Day here with some Celtic music, and they're going to be playing a number of songs for us today, and so we will let them take it away with, well, their second. So I'm going to open with a reading of today's daily word. It is empowered. I am empowered to bring my highest good into expression. The Gospel of John shares how the crippled man at the pool of Bethesda learned the words and the rituals that could lead to his healing, even though he had not been able to achieve that goal. Jesus demonstrated that the true answer was much simpler. Stand up and take your mat and walk. The faith demonstrated through that simple act of standing was all that was necessary to overcome the apparent limitations in which he had been living. I may have caused myself great confusion in the past because I believed the power necessary to live a spiritually centered life could be found outside of myself. Today, I know that I am innately empowered to make the choices that will bring my highest good into expression. From Joshua 1, verse 9, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And so we know at this moment that it's not the outward peace that we need to rely and depend upon, but our spirit is within. That's where our faith is. That's where our Christ being is within. God is with us always. We are never alone. So know this with all your heart and mind and be empowered today to take your steps as you need. Be empowered. Blessings. Amen. And so now it is time for our children to go to their youth and family ministry. Please go to the back and meet your teachers, and we will sing you out as you go. Love you, we bless you, we truly, truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you. And please stand as you are able, and we will say our statement of being. It is there on the screen. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And take this time now to greet each other with that handshake or that hug. And those on live streaming, just get a stretch and go for a coffee. Thank you so much again. Oh, everybody up and doing their jigs, right? So I have a few announcements today. Kind of mark your calendars for August 19th, that Sunday. That is when we will be doing the Valley Ties Community Cookout. We did this last year. This is where we go over to Rise and we all come together. It was such a blast with the communities coming together. So not just the spiritual communities, but those that live in the area. So mark that for August 19th, that Sunday. And I'm going to ask Sally Dolchers to come up. Yeah, yesterday we didn't really have much to do, did we here? So we had our chicken barbecue, and thank you, Sally, for doing so much with it.
So I would just like anybody that did anything to stand yesterday, whether you came to clean up, whether you started up, whether you ended up, whether you served, whether you cooked, And you know what? These people are amazing, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for everything that you did. You were great. So we don't know how much money we made because we were too tired to count money at the end. We all took a vote that we were out of here. We just couldn't do it anymore. But we'll talk a little bit more about it at the town hall meeting, but I really felt that it was important to recognize the people that came for 2 hours and stayed for 4, the people who came for 4 hours and stayed for 8, and the people that were there with us all day long. So I just wanted to once again thank you and appreciate you in every way that we possibly can. You are such a all of you are such a blessing, but yesterday you were all lifesavers, so thank you so much. We'll talk a little bit about this later.
So yes, Sally did mention that we have the town hall. We have a small amount of chicken left, actually did fairly well, I think, in the end. And what we've decided to do, instead of having some dinners left over for you to kind of package and take, we're going to be doing a little bit of a chicken buffet, sort of a la barbecue style. So, but we ask that, because this is still really a part of our chicken barbecue fundraising, that if you're going to partake in that it's a $5 donation for the meal, for the chicken and we're doing the salt potatoes a little differently. There's, so it's not quite the same. So thanks to Sibby and the staff downstairs that will make that happen. So the town hall will start 12:30-ish or so, but just come down and we'll get it together at that point. And know that in the month of July, we will not be doing a town hall. It's kind of the summer holiday, so the next one will be in August. August 12th is the date set. Okay. And then also that YFM are selling Delta Sonic tickets for their fundraiser. So there's a variety of things, some great discount sorts of stuff, and it really does help support our children. And, they're the ones out there kind of hawking it, which is great that they're being a part of that. So, and then Patsy, are you going to talk at Town Hall, okay, on the silent auction team that's coming together for an event then in the fall? So. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, we're 3 days into summer, so I'm going to talk about November 10th. Mark your calendars for November 10th, because in order to do a silent auction the right way and bring in the right amount of gifts, of donations, and the right amount of money, we need 6 months in the planning stage, and we're already 1 month behind. So mark November 10th, the board has already approved this date and approved the silent auction. So we need a lot of volunteers. We need volunteers to be team leaders. The way we're going to do it this year is break the donations up into teams. There'll be a retail team. There's no reason with 5 months we can't approach every single store in Destiny and every single store in Armory Square. No reason why we can't do this. We'll have a grocery store team. We'll have a services team so that we can approach people who offer Reiki or who offer whatever. We're going to have many, many teams. We have 2 coordinators in place now. Nancy Hazard, who did it all so well last year, is one of them. And everybody else who did it so well too. We want you involved also. And I'm going to be the other co-coordinator. So we also need people to think of items that we can add to the raffle. Nancy's going to have sign-up sheets that are pretty specific downstairs at the town hall meeting. So we can talk more about this at town hall, but it's going to be, what are you really interested in? Are you interested in getting donations from retail is what I'm trying to say. My job gets to my head sometimes. We're not going to have anything specific that requires a lot of work at the same time, okay? We're not going to have a spaghetti dinner to draw in the community at the same time, because we want everyone in the church involved in this auction. But what we're going to do instead is have, for example, a music concert going on upstairs, and maybe we can bring in Doolin O'Day and some other people, in addition to our own very talented musicians, the celebration team, Mark, David Rudari, Judy Banky. We have a lot of people. We want to draw people from the community in for more than one thing, and we want them to feel the energy in the sanctuary. So that would be what the music would do. It would do those two things. So if you have any ideas for other events that might draw people in, we might have the prayer chaplains offering prayer during a certain period. We prayed with 11 people yesterday, and many of them were simply not Unity people. They were people that were just walking by. So anyway, silent auction, November 10th. We start today on working on it, okay? Thank you so much for all your help that you will be giving.
Yep. Yeah, and I do want to put a plug for the prayer chaplains and yesterday, because I don't know why it took us 20-some years to decide that we should have a prayer tent out when we're a church and so forth, but, a little late than never. But it was just such a wonderful addition, and we mentioned it to somebody up in the line. He says, oh yeah, I already had my prayer, and it was so grateful, just someone coming. So that will be a regular thing, I think, and it should be at all of our events, that our prayer chaplains, because Unity was founded on prayer. Why aren't we having that service available at any time we're open? So, all right. I think that does it for announcements, but do please attend the town hall, because there's really lots of other things to talk about and get on with that we need to there. All right. Now's the time to welcome our guests. So if there is anyone here who hasn't been here in quite some time, or maybe this is your second or third time, would you like to raise your hand and let us recognize you? Welcome back. Yes, Cindy hasn't been here in a very long time, so she's coming back in. Thank you. Please stop down at the bookstore and we'll have a little gift for you after service. Is there anyone here who's here for the very first time? Anybody for the very first time? Okay. Well, we have some that have been up here. We appreciate you, and we'll honor you later as well. Thank you for being here. All right. On the screen, we will have our 5 basic principles. Although Unity was founded on prayer, but these are the basics of how we form our beliefs. And so is there any one or two of you who'd like to share for a couple minutes at most about how this has really worked in your life in this past week? All right, we have some hands up. Stand up. We've got a mic coming to you there. Or is that Linda? All right.
On Wednesday, my brother with special needs had a stroke, and the neurosurgeon was telling us not to be too hopeful. He's been in a coma since then, but in the last 2 days, he's trying to open his eyes, and all the prayers have been working. So I'm very grateful. I'm not good on social media. I did text Reverend Edith, but any and all prayers will still be welcome.
All right. Yes, prayer is coming your way. The power of affirmative prayer. And we had someone else, I think, was wanting to share. What did I see? No? Oh, Mina's going to share.
Well, yesterday, even though I was ready to come to the chicken barbecue, I left a funeral of a close friend of mine and drove out to Rochester to visit my brother-in-law in intensive care. And so I got a hold of my prayer chaplain friends, and they prayed, of course, and not only did I get carried through the day and into the night, but my brother-in-law is doing a tiny little bit better. So I remain hopeful, and I remain grateful to the prayer chaplains and my Unity family.
And now is the time we bless the prayer intentions that are in our box. Knowing that Unity was founded on prayer, at Silent Unity, they have been praying continuously for the last 125 plus years. And so for our prayer piece here, we do have our prayer chaplains that have been so mentioned today. They are available before the service and after the service. And please take some time to pray with them. Just a quick short minutes, and it can be a prayer of gratitude. It's wonderful to really be thankful sometimes for the good things that have happened in our lives. So if you've not yet placed your intention in the box and you're just holding it in your heart, that is fine, because we know that it is all prayers are heard wherever we hold them. And as our prayer box is brought forward, we do hold the prayers in confidence here and pray with them for the next 30 days, and then they're forwarded on to Silent Unity, where they hold them in prayer for another 30 days.
Before we, hello? Oh, yeah. Mother, Father, everywhere present, divine Creator God, thank you for this opportunity to pray together and to affirm that our prayers, both in the box and in our hearts, are already being answered. We thank you today for peace, love, kindness, generosity, patience. Did I say love how many times? We are so blessed to have each other, to be here in the world today. And for the knowledge, again, that our prayers are already being answered. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.
And now it is time for our meditative portion of this service. Now, some of you may have already joined me in closing your eyes, and if you have not, I invite you to do so. And for anyone who is not comfortable closing your eyes, I simply invite you to focus on one spot. Perhaps it's the Christ light or just in front of your lap. For we are affirming right now that there is absolutely no spot where God is not. So we take a moment to simply to be in the presence of pure spirit, allowing ourselves to deeply immerse ourselves in the Spirit. And in this now moment, I want you to consider who you came here to be. Who is your authentic self? Perhaps your authentic self is that light, the light that is shining brightly as you. For there is a light, a bright light, a soothing light. And we allow that light to simply move through every cell of our being as it already does. But we are conscious of that light right now. Conscious of how that light lives in us, how it moves in us, how it is being us. For in this moment, we are beginning again. We're beginning again. And as we join our hearts and minds together in the silence, we acknowledge the light that is us and the light that is in all of us here. In the silence, we are beginning newly, moment by moment. In the silence, we join our hearts and minds together as one. In the silence, we begin again. In the silence, we go deeper and deeper together. beginning. I am always beginning again. And in this expanded state of awareness, we bring all of our prayer intentions in the prayer box into our hearts. We bring all of the prayer requests which were asked for and prayed with in our prayer tent yesterday into this space. And if anyone has anyone on their heart, anyone at all, I invite you to bring that someone to this space right now. For in this space, this expanded state of beingness, we're holding the highest and best. We're knowing all is well. And we place ourselves in this space as well. In our acknowledgement of being who we came here to be, we give ourselves a little love hug as we release any baggage that we need to release and embrace that special person that we are, uniquely made. And we are grateful. Grateful for this acknowledgement, grateful for this space we share together in love, as love. And so it is. And so we simply allow it to be us. Amen. Good morning. Oh, that was not good enough. Good morning. There you go. You see, all the people out there in Love Streaming Land need to know that you guys are all out there behind the first seat. You know, they don't know it. Hi, people. Whoever you are. Some of you are our peeps, some people just visiting. And welcome to Unity of Syracuse. I'm Reverend Edith Washington-Woods. I'm so grateful to be the senior minister of this wonderful, amazing, love and light-filled church. Yes. I had a magazine that came in the mail just the other day, and this magazine had a cover. And the cover of the magazine had a lady who, she looked really nice. You know, like covers do. You know those things? And I remembered this lady when she was a little kid in the 60s. She was a little cute little thing. And she belonged to a big, huge family. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You get to make all that up. Well, I remember seeing this young lady as she was growing up. She was on television, and her family, they were entertainers and all of that. And then as she became a teenager and she got married, and nobody knew it, but then she didn't. She was, I think it was annulled or something. And then she was in her early adulthood, and well, she was entertaining everybody and whatnot. And she got married again, and nobody knew until after the divorce happened. And she's gotten married. She got married one more time, and well, everybody knew. And the person she married this guy wasn't even from the United States, and it didn't work out too good. But she got a kid with it, so I guess that kind of made it nice, right? Well, she's on this cover, and I'm wondering, wow, with all the makeup and whatnot, is that really who she is? Is that her authentic self? What does she really look like? But I remembered what she looked like when she was 10. She didn't look like she looks now. And I started thinking about authenticity. And what does authenticity mean? I think authenticity means, am I being true to who I am? And I was wondering about this entertainer, and all of the times she had a marriage and ended a marriage, did she have to let go of some baggage each time she ended that role? Well, it's kind of like us. We're very similar to that. What I mean by that is, everybody in this room, even these ladies right here, you got up this morning, you decided you wanted to put on something, maybe you changed your mind a few times. Well, I'm only talking about myself. You know, I had a couple of blue dresses, and then I put one on and put one off, and I took one on. I said, no, this is the one. It makes me feel more comfortable. But who is it in here? Is it part of the outer look, like the lady on the cover who had been photoshopped, I'm sure, to make her cheeks just a little bigger and maybe a little rosier or something like that? You put a little pancake makeup on so you don't see any lines at all. And I wonder, who are we being when we're being authentically us? But there are all those times when we have just a little bit of baggage. Well, how big is the baggage? Is it this big? Is it hard and rigid, as it talks about in Mark Naples' book in our chapter, Always Beginning, that we have for this week? How rigid is your baggage? Is it a big old piece of baggage like this, and you're trying to stuff everything in there, and you can't help but let the zipper out so it can expand? Or do you have a piece of baggage that's a little smaller, just a little bit small? This is somebody's baggage. But we carry these things around with us, and we sometimes we're dragging them because it seems like they're full of rocks. But what about when the baggage is on our body? I was reading a story the other day about this person, let's call it a guy. So this guy went to his massage therapist and had a massage, and the massage therapist was kneading, right there. And the massage therapist said, "What's going on with you? That's pretty hard and rigid." He said, "Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm doing great." He said, "I don't know. It's pretty hard right there. You're usually not like that. It's usually not that hard." And then he started talking about how he felt like he wasn't measuring up. And at the end of this story, to make it a little shorter, he realized he had been telling himself that. "Oh, you're not good enough. You're not going to measure up. You're getting a little bit older. You know, you don't look the same. Your hair is different colors." Whatever color that can be. And he realized that his tense, rock hard, rigid skin, muscles, arteries, and veins was the rigidness that he had for himself. You see, we have these baggages that we carry with us. And in the book, it tells us that when we're rigid like that, we kind of, you can't move. Think about it. Why do they make some hard like this? Because when we have the soft ones, you know, the ones made out of fabric, then it's softer. See that? It's all cushy. We don't want people to see our cushiness. We want people to see that we're hard. Don't touch us. Get out the way. I'll get you. But when we're called to be our authentic selves, we're called to see what life is like. And that when we are growing through things, that we get to see, like Mark Naples says in his side right here, our willingness to sink into the depths of things and wait will let us see and make our own way. So when we're seeing and making our own way and being all rigid and everything, then we can't feel how we're connected with everyone, because we think it's all about me. You see, I'm sure that this piece of luggage thought it was all about her, even when she doesn't have as much. And yet, there is this connection between 1, 2, and 3. And all we're called to do and to be is to let go of what our idea of life is supposed to be and experience it. And absolutely experience it. And when we do that, then we do as Master Eckhart says, that and suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. So I'm thinking back to this young lady, his entertainer person. Ask me later and I'll tell you who it is. She was born in the late 60s, and I was born in 1960. So I remember the gap between 1960 and about 1968. And those of you who were there remember what our country was going through. We had the civil rights movement, we had the women's movement, because, you know, some women didn't want to be barefoot and pregnant anymore. And so they didn't. And so they decided, I'm going to put my shoes on and go to work. Oh, I'm talking about my mom. And then we had the Vietnam War. So it was a lot going on at that time, a lot of things that were happening, but all we had to do was trust the magic of beginnings. And so a lot of things were beginning at that time. A lot of things. If you just think about it, and you were back there, you remember something that was happening, perhaps in your life and or in the world. But when we're allowing ourselves to do that, we can see that new beginnings can only happen when we're being soft. We're allowing ourselves to expand. Because when we expand, we're able to be with each other. We're able to have relationship with people. So I'm going to tell you about this story in the Bible. There were these two brothers, two sons. And the father had gotten some money, and he was going to give some money to his 2 sons. Well, one of the sons says, well, I don't want to wait until you die. I want my money now. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me now. So he gives his son the money, and his son runs off away from the farm and what they were doing and took off and ran down to the city, maybe a city like New York City. And he ran off to the city, and he spent his money on things and people, some girls of the night. Okay, so he did that. I won't say what I was going to say. I won't say that in the church. Ask me later. But he went and spent all his money on them girls, and then he didn't know what to do with himself. He was broke. He had to get a job. So he went and convinced this man to let him feed his pigs. Now, this was a nice Jewish boy. What in the world would he be doing touching those things? That was not considered good for a Jewish person to go and not eat it, but definitely not touch it. But he did. And he got to thinking for himself, wow, my father has a bunch of servants and everything. Why am I being a servant? Why am I doing this? I need to do something different. You see, he woke up that morning with a new attitude. He woke up that morning with a humbleness about himself, ready to go ask for forgiveness. Please forgive me for the way I acted, and please take me back. So he went back home, ready to have his father he wanted his father to allow him to be a servant. But when he went back, you see, his father had been worried. You know, like some people get worried about their children. And this is what his father said in Luke chapter 15, verse 24. He said, "For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." And they began to celebrate. The father didn't hold on to the baggage that his son had brought him, telling him, I'm not going to wait until you die. I want to spend your money now. Well, I'm not going to wait till my kids die, till I die. I'm going to spend my money now. How about that? Okay, so I just have to tell you that, you know, I've told my children that many times. You're not waiting. First of all, I'm not going to die until I'm 94, so you probably don't know what's going to happen, but I surely wouldn't be like that, Father, and give all my money away. But the point is that there was some softness that happened. That with that softness, that the Father opened his arms and said, come to me, regardless of whatever baggage the Son had. He fully accepted him. And the Buddha said these words, no matter how hard the past, you're always beginning again. So no matter how rigid we are in our circumstances, no matter how rigid we are in our thinking, we can always begin anew. That's what living in an authentic life, in an authentic world is. Yes, it has its ebbs and flows and things that happen and don't happen, but when we're willing to be with those moments and walk through them and past them, we can always be our authentic self. In our book, Mark Naples says that through the life of authenticity, we trip into the heart of things and experience the interconnectedness of things again and again and again. So here we are, living this life. We have this big old heart that's pumping out things, you know, our blood to us and everything like that, and we think it all stays in here. It's not. If we're being rigid and hard and closing off our mind to people because they're different than us, talk different, walk different, look different, don't have the same clothes as we do, then we're closing ourselves off to that connection. But everybody wants to be connected, don't we? Doesn't everyone want to be connected? And when we allow ourselves to soften up just a little bit, it opens the door to anything being possible. It opens the door to us being able to begin again and again. That this experience of interconnectedness is what life is all about. Our life isn't meant to be in a cage, a little chain fence or something like that, or the cage of our home. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to be experienced. It's meant for us to be part of it in every moment of every day. Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson says that authenticity is to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else. And it is the greatest accomplishment. So have you ever had a time in your life where someone said to you, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, don't do that. You know, let's go back to the women in the 60s. My dad was a steel mill worker. You know how I know? When I was 5, I had my tonsils out, and he came to the hospital in that green suit, and he smelled so bad. Ew. Every now and then I have a smell, and I smell that smell. It's not him, but it takes me back to 1965. But he wanted to be the breadwinner. That's what men did, right? Get the food, take it home, put it on the table, and roll it up, let mama make some apple pie. But it stopped working. Because women wanted to experience something else. And inside of us being our authentic self, aren't we able to begin newly? Aren't we able to allow ourselves to have these experiences that have us achieve our greatest? I'm thinking about the women who were at NASA. Remember the movie? And nobody knew about them until we got this movie that back, was it in the 50s, Coast? Yeah, the 50s and 60s, and they were mathematicians. Who thought that women knew math? Okay, I know. I'm just going to say it like that. Hey, if I'd have known that women knew math, I would have probably liked it a lot more. But just thinking about what does it take to live outside of that rigid little box? What does it take for us to say, I'm not going to do it that way because you said I should do it that way and do it my way? How do we be our real selves? How do we allow ourselves to step into a new way of being, especially within our own selves? When do we tell ourselves, oh, you're not good enough, not going to do that, can't do that, don't even get out of the bed, forget about it? When are we going to stop doing that? When are we going to get up and say, no, this is a great new day. It is the beginning of a new day, and I get to be glad in it. I get to be happy in it. I get to be joyous in it. I get to share it with you. When are we going to stop telling ourselves that we can't do a thing, that we can't love people differently than us? When are we going to stop doing that and just let the love be? When are we going to stop doing that and let the love just radiate out from us in a way that has everybody feel that love too? When are we going to stop putting ourselves in the rigid box and allowing ourselves to shine? Okay? When we allow ourselves to shine, then it allows you to shine, and it allows you in the back to shine, and it allows our friends to shine, and it allows our dogs and our cats with their 4 legs to shine. Yes. We have to stop living in that rigidity and begin again. And sometimes when we're living in our rigidity and stuff, and we're allowing ourselves to be softer, we might make mistakes. It's all right. Because if we don't make mistakes, then we just stay stuck right there. We just stay stuck in it. You see, beginning again gives us the chance to build something bigger and better, I'm going to say and better, than we ever have before. We build rockets. We build so much more stuff than they did back in biblical days. They couldn't even wrap their head around what we do. We're just talking about Leland's granddaughter, right? Remember? She's, 3? 3 years old, wrote her grandpa a card, and so she signed her name, and she didn't have enough room, so she moved it over here, and they took a picture and sent it to him. 3 years old. Happy Father's Day. These kids are so technologically advanced than we have been in 1960 that all we could do is say, wow, let them fly. When we are beginning again, we are starting new things over and over and over again and making stuff up and using our imagination that we get to look at just for a month, that we get to use our imagination in ways that have us expand our consciousness, that we expand our consciousness together. We get to expand it and then share it. So what I want you to consider today is, what does it take for me to move out of this rigid self, this little rigid self, and get to the softer stuff, the softer side? What does it take for us to move into that? Perhaps it's a little prayer. What prayer did you learn when you were 6 years old, 3 years old? What prayer did you learn when you were 66? Sometimes the prayer is God is. Sometimes the prayer is thank you. That we be in the presence and allow ourselves to move inside of being bigger, better, and badder. And our affirmation for today can assist us with this week in moving toward a connection with all. And here it goes. I'll read it and then ask you to read it with me. I am always beginning again by building my authentic self and sharing it with you. Let's say that together, please. I am always beginning again by building my authentic self and sharing it with you. Let's say that again, please. I am always beginning again by building my authentic self and sharing it with you. So I want you to take a moment. I invite you to close your eyes again or focus on this Christ light up here. And know that we're part of the light. We are the light. We are the light of the world. So take that awareness into your heart space. You may even want to take a gentle breath, breathing into the heart as you exhale. Taking a moment to be grounded in this now moment as we begin moment by moment together. And now if you will open your eyes and let's say this affirmation one more time, because our heart depends on it, this community depends on it, and the world depends on it. Let's say it again together, please. I am always building again by building my authentic self and sharing it with you. And I was beeping all over the place, so I think we should say it one more time. One more time. I am always beginning again by building my authentic self and sharing it with you. Now turn to your neighbor. Let's say it again, please. I am always beginning again by building my authentic self and sharing it with you. And so it is, and so we let it be us. Amen. And now it's time for our tithes, love offering, and gifts. taking your, I didn't even move and it beeped. Okay. I'm just electric, that's all it is. Y'all just have to be with my electricity. So we take a moment to prepare our money substance, knowing that we've already given in love, we're giving from love in this moment, here and now. And that in our giving of money substance is just another expression and an extension of our authentic self. So we have our love offering blessing here on the screen. If you'll say that with me, please, together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source. Thank you so much. Doolin O'Day. Yay. Thank you, ladies. And I know you're wondering, what does Gandhi have to say? I'm just going to keep getting these Gandhi checks, you know, because it makes me connect with you and my money. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Go shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it, shake it. Bring a little Taylor Swift. Shake it up. Is that it? Yeah. Y'all didn't know he could dance, did you? Well, I already know how you roll. Okay. Okay. I hear the people with the energy and the love, and yep, and we're all doing it as one, rubbing our hands together, that love flowing from our heart through our hands toward this money substance as we bless it. God, the good omniscience, everywhere present, God. We're so grateful. We're so grateful for this day and how we were able to give and receive. We give thanks for those who have given money substance today and all of those who were here to give of their time, talent, and treasure so many ways. We give thanks for Doolin O'Day for this wonderful Celtic music, a different music for us, but yet we are all one with it. We're so grateful for all that we get to be in this moment as we bless these love offerings and bless the givers and know that we are giving as one. We're so grateful for the living, moving embodiment of Spirit as us, and we let it be. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
What at?
Just make sure the kids don't run on stage.
I will. Walking in the light of God. We are 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 walking. We are walking. Here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Yep. Have to go out like this. Yep. Nope. About right there. Yes. Okay, line up right down here. It's a whole bunch of y'all today. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Hello. Hi. Hello
Good afternoon,
there.
everybody.
Hey, Natalie.
So, wanted to remind her that there's Delta Sonic Car Wash and interior cleaning tickets as a fundraiser for the youth that are going to be sold downstairs. They're $12 a piece, and I wanted to thank everybody that came and helped yesterday during the chicken barbecue, and thank you, Thomas, for the yard sale as well, and CJ, thank you for helping out as well. Appreciate your presence.
Yay.
And
Thank
would
you
you like to
so
say
much.
something?
Just want to say that as president of the board, we as the directors of this wonderful community want to say thank you. You are phenomenal. Yesterday was unbelievable. 8 a.m. in the morning, all day long, and I'm going to just single out one little part, and that is that in the afternoon, Tavion and Sophia, if I asked them to move 2 chairs, then I asked them to move 2 more chairs, and 2 more. And they moved all of the chairs, all of them, and they smiled the entire time. They smiled. I could not be more proud of all of you. Not only that, but we had our team leaders there. Byron was there all day long. Mary Beth, Natalie, you did phenomenal. We say every Sunday, we have a thriving family and youth ministry. You guys, you demonstrated it yesterday, and we say thank you.
Yes. And now we have our children's love. There we go. Children's blessing and affirmation. Together, we bless our children wherever they are. We see them surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanded youth and family ministry. Yes, we do. And our prayer for protection, everybody. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And the peace song, everybody. Can y'all get our musicians on the holding the hand with them too? Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let welcome. Glad you're here.